It was a Saturday night, and a heavy rainstorm was hitting the house. Inside, the living room was dark. The only light came from a lamp. Walter was sitting on the floor, surrounded by empty beer bottles. He looked very tired and had not shaved in days. He was staring blankly. His hands were shaking as he reached for one more drink. The house was quiet, except for the sound of the rain. Walter seemed lost in his own thoughts, and he looked like a man who had given up on everything. Elena was standing in the kitchen doorway. She was watching Walter from a distance. Her two children, Leo and Maya, were hiding behind her. Leo is 7 years old, and he was holding his mother's hand very tightly. Maya is only 4, and she was crying quietly into her mother's leg. Elena looked very worried. She didn't want to start a fight, but she knew she had to do something. Leo whispered to his mom, "Is Papa mad again?" Elena didn't know what to say. She just hugged them closer and tried to stay brave for them. Suddenly, Walter stood up. The bottles made a loud noise on the floor as he knocked one of them while he gets up, which scared the kids. Walter looked over at the kitchen and saw them watching him. He started walking toward them, stumbling a little bit. He looked angry and confused. Elena stepped forward to block the children. Walter stopped shouting when he looked down at the floor. He saw a broken picture frame. It was a photo of the family at the beach from a few years ago. Everyone in the photo made Walter go quiet. He looked at his hands and then at his crying daughter. He seemed to realize that he was hurting the people he loved. He reached for a bottle on the table one last time, but then he stopped. Just at that moment, there were 3 loud knocks at the front door. Everyone froze. They weren't expecting anyone at this late hour. The police team arrived at the house in the mountains. It was a dangerous area, and the suspect had the advantage of knowing the land. When the officers entered, the house was strangely quiet. The wife was there, looking like she had been crying for hours. It looked like she had been crying for hours. She had bruises and injuries on her shoulder, but she refused to speak. The neighbors were also silent, afraid to point fingers. The husband stood there calmly and denied everything. He told the police, "I didn't shoot any gun. I just had a small argument with my wife." It seemed like the investigation was hitting a dead end. The investigator noticed a small child, only 4 years old, standing in the corner. While the adults were lying or staying silent, the detective decided to ask the child a direct question. He knelt down to the child's level and asked softly, "Where did your father put the gun?" The room went silent. The neighbors and the suspect's family watched, holding their breath. They didn't think a 4-year-old would know, or they hoped the child would be too scared to talk. The child did not hesitate. He pointed his small finger toward the yard and said, "He hid it under the gemelina tree." The police immediately went to the spot the child indicated. They began digging in the soil near the tree. Everyone was shocked when they found something wrapped in rubber. It was a gun, buried deep in the dirt. The child's honesty had broken the wall of silence. The husband's face turned from confidence to total shock. He could not deny the evidence anymore. The police officially arrested the husband. The detective asked if he had the license to possess the said firearms. He failed to show any. They read him his Miranda rights, explaining that he had the right to remain silent and the right to a lawyer. He was charged with alarm and scandal, violence against women and children, and illegal possession of firearms. As they led him away in handcuffs, His family watched in silence. The detective looked at the child, realizing that the smallest person in the house was the bravest. The suspect was taken down the mountain to the police station to face justice. At the station, the investigation continued. The detective learned that the suspect wasn't just a husband. He was the only provider for the family. The wife was now in a difficult position. She was the victim of his violence. But if he stayed in jail, she and her children would have no mercy for food or daily survival. The detective watched her sitting in the waiting room, looking torn between her safety and her family's future. It was a heartbreaking choice that many victims have to face. The wife finally made her decision. She executed a sworn statement of no interest to file criminal charges. She told the officers that she did not want to file criminal charges for the violence against her. RA 9262. She told the detective, "He is the only hope for our daily survival. I forgive him because we need him." The detective was disappointed, but understood her fear. He had seen this happen many times before. She hoped that by forgiving him, her family could stay together. However, there was a problem. While the wife could forgive the violence against her, she could not forgive the illegal gun or the shots fired in public. These are considered crimes against the state, the people of the Philippines. The detective explained to her that the police were now the complainants for the alarm and scandal and illegal possession of firearms charges. Even if she wanted him home, the law required him to stay in jail for the safety of the public. Seeing that there was no way out because of the evidence the child found, the husband decided to plead guilty. He admitted to the alarm and scandal and the illegal possession of firearms. He sat in his cell, realizing that his actions had finally cost him his freedom. The case was moving fast. The detective finished the blotter and prepared the final documents for court. The court date arrived quickly. Based on his guilty plea and the evidence of the gun buried under the Gemelina tree, the judge made a decision. The suspect was sentenced to prison for 1 year. 1 year of his life was gone. 1 year of his children growing up without a father. As the judge read the sentence, the wife sat in the back of the courtroom, crying. She had tried to save him from jail, but his own choices had made it. The detective sat at his desk, looking at the closed file. He thought about the psychological facts of the case. He realized that his child's honesty was the only reason the crime was solved. Children do not have the complicated reasons to lie that adults do. They only see right and wrong. He felt a sense of peace, knowing that the illegal gun was confiscated and could no longer hurt anyone in the future. The detective's perspective on this case was clear. Forgiveness is sometimes good for families to stay intact, but it cannot replace justice. If the police had not intervened, the husband might have used that gun again. By taking him away for a year, the law provided a timeout for the family and prevented future harm. The neighborhood was finally safe and quiet again. The story of Chapter 13 ends with a powerful lesson. It reminds us that there are some crimes that don't need a private complainant because the people of the Philippines are the ones affected. As the detective moves on to his next assignment, he carries the memory of the 4-year. He will be a man who deserves the forgiveness his wife gave him. Follow for more detective stories.